Welcome back, dear children. Myself Sunil, your chemistry teacher. And students, how are you all? I hope you all are fine and you are enjoying the holidays, okay? And also in between the holidays, one more thing you have to keep in your mind, complete your copy work. Already we have completed our 2 chapters and I have given the question answers to you. Okay, students? So complete your work. Every day I am reminding you, okay? You complete your copy work, it will make you free from the workload when the school starts. Okay students, today we are going to discuss our third unit, elements, compounds and mixtures. From this we have discussed many points and today we are going to discuss separating the components from the mixture, which are the methods we are using to separate the components from mixtures. All of you please take out the book and ready for the video. Okay students, here is our topic, separating the components of a mixture. To separate the components of a mixture there are different methods, okay, that we will discuss later. In order to obtain a pure substance, we often need to separate the components of a mixture. In order to get back a pure substance, what we have to do? We have to separate the components of a mixture. It is only by doing so that we obtain common salt from seawater and drinking water from ordinary water and petrol, diesel and kerosene from crude oil. Okay, other examples are there. Why we have to do the separation? Because seawater, we know that seawater, many dissolved salts are there. So how can we separate it? We have to separate it. And drinking water from ordinary water. From the ordinary water we can separate the drinking water. And petrol, diesel and kerosene can be separated from the crude oil. Clear? So what is the principle of separation? For separating the components of a mixture, we take advantage of that property of the components in which they differ the most. Such a distinguishing property can be state, size, magnetic behavior, solubility, melting point, boiling point or adsorbability, etc. According to these characteristics of a mixture in a component, we can separate it, okay, according to this criteria. Then state, size, magnetic behavior, solubility, melting point, boiling point, etc. According to this criteria we can separate the components from the mixture. Thus it will be easy to separate a solid from a liquid or a gas and a liquid from a gas, smaller particles from larger ones. A magnetic substance from a non-magnetic substance can be separate, a soluble substance from an insoluble one, a high melting solid from a low melting one, etc. This type of separation we can do very easily. Okay, and we will see how the methods of separation are based on this principle. There are few methods for the separation. Scientists use various types of methods for the separation. Clear? But here we will study some important one. First of all, sieving. The separation method is sieving. In this method, what we are doing? This method is based on the difference in the particle size of the components. When a solid mixture is stirred or shaken on a mesh called sieve. Clear? Sieve. We are using sieve at home. Clear? The preparation of the tea. Mummy, your mother is doing. Mother is using this sieve. Okay? Clear? So here also we are using sieve for the sieving process. The particles smaller than the holes of a mesh pass through and the larger one remain on the mesh. While we prepare tea, what we will do? You have to remove separate the tea leaves. For that what mummy will do? What your mother will do? Your mother will pour the tea on the sieve. and will keep a separate glass downside of the sieve. Then what will happen? Whole pure tea will be collected in the glass and the tea leaves and other things, other ingredients will be collected in the sieve. This process is sieving. Clear? And fine sieves are used in the kitchen to separate bran from flour and bigger ones at the construction sites to separate stone from sand. So fine sieves, there are fine sieves are there. These are used, fine sieves are used in the kitchen to separate bran from flour. Bran from flour. And bigger one we are using, bigger sieves are we are using the construction sites to separate stones from sand. To separate stones from sand. Thus, sieves of different sizes are used for different solid mixtures. This process is called sieving. Now, second method to separate the components from a mixture, that is magnetic separation. This method is used to separate a magnetic substance from a non-magnetic substance. Magnetic separation method we are using to separate magnetic substance from the non-magnetic substance. You have learned in previous classes that iron being magnetic can be separated from sulfur or chalk, which is non-magnetic. In smaller classes we have learned that, the previous classes we have learned that if there is a mixture of chalk powder, sulfur and iron pins, how can we separate it? By using a magnet. Clear? By using the magnet, because iron attracts magnets. All the iron substances or the alpins or pins can be collected by the magnet from the solution of sulfur, chalk or pins. Clear? In fact, the method in a modified form is highly useful in separating magnetic minerals from non-magnetic ones. The mixture is placed on a conveyor belt moving around a magnetic wheel. Clear? While falling from the belt, the mixture gets separated into two heaps. The outer heap consists of non-magnetic component and inner heap of the magnetic component. Inner heap is magnetic component. You see here the magnetic separation of minerals. Clear? The inner part we can collect the magnetic substances, and the outer part we can collect the non-magnetic substances. Okay students, here in this side we are collecting the magnetic substance, this side we are collecting the non-magnetic substance. Now we are going to discuss about sedimentation and decantation. This method is useful for separating the components of a mixture of solid and liquid, in which the solid is heavier than the liquid. Sand and water mixture is an example. If the mixture is allowed to stand for some time, the solid settles down. Whatever settles down is called sediment. Okay, consider sand, water solution. So once you are collected the sand water solution, what to do? Just remain this one aside for some time, and after some time you can observe that all the mud particles will be collected in the bottom of the vessel. And later what to do? Later you have to do the process like this. Clear? Just pour the water on the glass rod. Then slowly the water will be collected in the second beaker, and the sand will be remain in the first beaker itself. Okay students, it's called as sedimentation. Clear? And whatever settles down, I told you whatever settles down, that is called a sediment. This process is called a sedimentation. The liquid above the sediment called a supernatant liquid. The liquid above the sediment, that is called a supernatant liquid. It can be carefully decanted into another vessel. Slowly we can remove from this beaker to another beaker by the decantation process. The process can be used to separate immiscible liquids also from one another. However, it is not suitable for the separation of the components of a solid liquid mixture in which the solid is lighter than the solid, as in has water mixture. Now here is our next topic, that is filtration. Okay students, if you want to separate a liquid from insoluble solid, filtration is a better method than decantation. You have learned how filter paper cone is prepared and fitted to a funnel. In 6th class we have discussed. The apparatus is set up as shown in figure 3.7. Clear? Here we can see a beaker, a funnel with a filter paper, and one more beaker contains sand and water. Okay, the apparatus should be arranged as shown in figure like this. Okay, the solid liquid mixture is allowed to stand for some time. The solid liquid mixture allowed to stand for some time. Then what will happen? The solid particles will settle down the bottom of the funnel. The liquid passes through and the solid collects on the filter paper. Clear? The supernatant liquid is powered along a glass rod into the funnel. We have already seen. Clear? Here we can, the supernatant liquid that should be powered through the glass rod to the funnel. Funnel there is filter paper is kept. Okay. The liquid passes through and the solid collects on the filter paper. The clear liquid is thus obtained is called a filtrate. The clear liquid which is collected in the beaker down, that is called a filtrate. That is called a filtrate here. It's called a filter. The filtered water that will be collected in the beaker. Okay students, now next topic is dissolution followed by evaporation or crystallization. This topic we will discuss in next class. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.